The accident had a chilling effect at Aurora. Immediately upon hearing of the accident, Aurora canceled Beat the Champ and terminated all publicity featuring Robert's name. Silverstein had been right the first time when he signed Moss. Retired legends don't die on racetracks in the middle of promotions. Because of Robert's untimely demise, Grand National time trials weren't held until early fall and in a greatly revised format. On October 6th, the fastest drivers from each state went to their local dealers for the final trial. At 4:30 Eastern Time, the command go was issued via telephone from Aurora headquarters, and all 48 races started simultaneously. Each store had 3 independent timers to verify results, and Aurora required winning cars be impounded to make sure, in Palmer's words, nobody had been Mickey Mousing around with the car. On Sunday, November 14th, the New York Hilton hosted preliminary races among 7 regional winners. The next morning, 4 finalists taped Steve Allen's I've Got a Secret CBS game show. The boy's secret? One of us is going to win $5,000 tonight. Once the quiz was finished, the contestants moved to the stage where Derek Brand and his crew had set up the race course. Sterling Moss officiated. Preliminaries leader Tom Kildoff chose the outside lane and proceeded to win the final race, a new Ford Mustang and a 2000 college scholarship. Supermodel motoring, the 148th wrong turn. Just a week after the Grand National Finals, the National Custom Car Show opened in New York City. As was typical for the time, model and slot car manufacturers had booths alongside real-life cars. Aurora had big news for the automotive world. The debut of supermodel motoring, slot cars in 1/48th scale. Not too big, not too small, but sized right in between. In basic terms, supermodel motoring attempted to find an unoccupied niche between small HO cars and large 132nd and 124 systems. Joe Giammarino hoped Lionel Railroaders would support the size-compatible line. Although supermodel motoring cars had a new, larger chassis, their motor was the same T-Jet found in Aurora HO cars. Body styles designed by HMS were all in the hot rod vein: a 31 Model A pickup, 32 Ford sedan, 36 Ford convertible, and a 57 Chevy hardtop. Aurora launched supermodel motoring with 2 sets, one at $24.95 and the other at $29.95, complete with an overpass to construct an over-under figure 8. There were no other accessories. Given the limited variety, Aurora's entry into O-gauge racing looked timid. The hobby industry didn't know what to make of the 148 cars. Jose Rodriguez Jr. of Car Model liked the line, but asked the immortal question, do we need another scale? Others criticized the car's lack of detail and accurate proportioning. The T-Jet motor generated plenty of power, but the question remained, who wanted them? During 1964, Aurora added 4 more rods to the line: a 1947 Mercury, 1957 Thunderbird, 1932 Ford Deuce, and 1927 Model T rod. Sales were terrible, and Aurora let the line die quietly. We couldn't give them away, observed Brand, who thought hot rods had limited appeal. Proving you do only live twice, Aurora disposed of its surplus inventory of 1/48th chassis by selling them to the A.C. Gilbert Company, which used them in a James Bond spy slot car set. If only, the sudden death of supermodel motoring had more impact than many today realize. The line's untimely demise kept Aurora from issuing a handful of cars that would have become certain collector classics today. The cars were 1/48th scale monster mobiles. 1964 was the year of monster mania in America. The Addams Family and the Munsters cavorted across television screens, and Aurora was selling Universal movie monster figure kits like crazy. Aurora R&D team members designed patterns for at least 3 cars driven by popular monsters: Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Wolfman. The cars were miniature versions of popular Aurora model kits depicting monsters driving hot rods. Aurora even issued a press release announcing the cars, but never produced them. Today, photographs are all that remain of what might have been some of the most collectible slot cars ever manufactured. Leadership. Despite the 148 setback, HO slot car popularity surged. By 1965, HO model motoring was a staple in the toy and hobby industry. Indeed, the enormous popularity of slot cars had made Aurora Plastics Corporation the largest hobby company in the world, an incredible achievement in such a short period of time. The Thunderjet motor was powerful enough to keep slot enthusiasts happy and reliable enough to be a big hit in the mass market. Marx and Lionel dropped out, leaving just Tyco and Atlas to compete for leftovers. 1965 wasn't a major year for innovation at Aurora. The only novel introduction was cosmetic, painting 6 models in brilliant candy colors. Later, Aurora would plate these same cars in candy-colored chrome. Aurora also produced some new track products, but these too were largely cosmetic. The most spectacular new item, Cobra Climb spiral roadway support, a base and pedestal with arms that tilted curved track sections up into a 360-degree spiral, then down. 5 other track accessories also appeared, the most interesting to serious racers being the corner crossover. Racers had asked for this segment because it sent cars into opposite lanes on a curve, following the path that centrifugal force would compel real cars to follow on a race course. After the tragedy of Fireball Roberts, the 1965 Ford Aurora Grand National returned to the weekly in-store format. Silverstein retained Dan Gurney as celebrity race marshal. Local races were conducted in June. Opening rounds of the finals were staged on December 9th at Aurora's massive new Raceway Center complex in West Hempstead. There were 5 preliminary race courses, and for the first time they included tracks for 132nd and 125 cars. This was Aurora's track, however, and the HO races carried the most importance. Upon completion of the opening rounds, Aurora management and the top 4 contestants drove to Philadelphia. The final race was held on the Mike Douglas Show. John Seeley of Rapid City duplicated the feat of his neighbor in 1963 winner Ronnie Colrick by driving a Mustang 2+2 to victory. Seeley received his trophy and keys to a real Mustang 2+2 from a World Land Speed record holder, Craig Breedlove. This ends Chapter 2. Next episode we'll start Chapter 3. The title is Scale, Battle for Supremacy. Alright guys, thanks for listening.